Okay, everybody, I'm going to show you the basics of doing a paper pencil draft here using some traditional drafting tools. And again, this is kind of the next step. We use some graph paper, but this is really if you were going to actually do paper pencil drafting, which I'm not sure how many people do anymore, but this is what I used to do for a living, actually. So I rather enjoy doing it, but a lot of it's done on the computer now, but I still think understanding the basics of this is helpful. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to tape our paper down because you'll see in a moment, but it's very important that we have, a very set horizontal line to work with on our paper. So I just use blue painter's tape, and you don't need very much, 4 inches or so, just to hold enough to hold down each corner, right? And then, so we've got our main tools here. We've got a triangle, a T-square, a pencil, and then I've got a pen to ink it later. I'm going to get another triangle. This is a 45 degree. I want to have also a 30 degree if I want to do isometric views, which I'll show you here shortly as well. So essentially, this is all we need to do our draft, and then I've got my computer with my shape that I'm going to work on over here. So I always like to start, and I'm going to do my quadrants where every horizontal line I'm going to use my T-square for, and every vertical line I'm going to use a combination of the T-square and my triangle. Now, you could do it the opposite way, and you could go this way as well if you prefer. I was used to working at a big desk, so I couldn't move my T-square this way. But if that works for you, that's fine. It's really just a matter of having these perpendicular combination where you can go horizontal and vertical to get all your lines. And then, you're going to need a ruler too, and I don't have one of those, so I'm going to grab one real quick. But obviously, you're going to need a ruler too, so you get your measurements correct. Okay, and I'm just going to do our CAD shape one, just very simple design, just to get you the basics. But the power of this is, you'll see in just a minute. But as always, like I've been saying, you've got your front view down here, your top view up here, and your right view over here. And this is where you'll really see why this is. So I always like to start with the front view, and I'm just going to draw a light line on the left, and then I'm going to draw a right line on the bottom, and this corner is where I like to start. And I think you'll see why here in just a second. So first measurement is 30 millimeters. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that, and then I'm going to draw a line across, and I'm going to draw a line here lightly, but then I'm also drawing it over here, because I'm building this drawing as I'm building this one, same with this one. Okay, my next measurement is going to be 60 wide. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that. And then I'm going to draw a light line here, and then I'm going to draw a light line up here. Because again, I'm trying to only make these measurements once on this drawing, and then I'm applying those to the other drawings. Okay, next, got a measurement of 20 right there, and then I know I got another 20, so I'm just going to go ahead and mark the 40 right there, trying to work efficiently. And I'm going to draw my lines lightly and lightly again. Okay, and then I know I need to go up 10 here, and then another 10 there. And then I'm going to draw those lines across there and over here. And again, I'm going to draw them here and over here. So now I've got every drawing. Well, technically there's dotted lines here too. So I'm just going to go ahead and put in those hidden lines here as well. Okay. So my drawing here is done. I have all the dimensions I need for this drawing down here. So I'm just going to go ahead and ink it though. because obviously I've got all these light pencil marks, but I need to be able to see what the shape is exactly. So I'm going to go ahead and ink those in. Boom, and I'll even ink in my dotted lines there, my hidden lines. And what those hidden lines mean, if you haven't picked up on that yet, is that there is something there, but we just can't see it in this drawing. And so there, I just went ahead and very quickly made that drawing, but I used all those measurements here and here. So now when I go make these other drawings, watch how that works. So I'm going to go up top here, and I'm going to draw my bottom line. And then I've just got to make a couple of measurements here. It's 40 millimeters tall. And I'll go ahead and draw that line. And then here and here on this line, there's these little 10 millimeter pieces that jut out. And I'll go ahead and I'll pencil those in. And see, now I've just gotten all my lines done for this top drawing, and now I just have to go ahead and ink them again. So I'm going to come up here, and then any of my official lines I will ink. Notice I'm not being super particular about my edges here. Go over this spot though because it didn't get it. And then boom, that drawing is done. And you see how I only had to make a couple of measurements up here, but I already had most of the lines that I needed because I used these lines from the measurements I took down here. Okay, so same thing over here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw my left-hand side. And then I just need to make my quick measurement. Now I know that here to here is 40. And remember, if we're looking at the views, like this is the top view. So if I'm looking at this shape from this side, here's the top of my head and here's my eyeballs looking at this. Here's me standing facing this way. Here's my eyeballs looking at it from this way. And from this one, if you can imagine me standing, here's the back of my head and my eyeballs are looking that way. Okay, so it's the same object, just three different views of it. So now over here, we know that this is 40 wide because I'm standing here looking at it. So 40. And then I'm going to go ahead and draw that. And then I know that I just have these little 10 millimeter on each side lines. And I'm going to go ahead and pencil those in. Pencil, pencil. And then I'm going to go ahead and ink them. And I'm going to try to do, all my vertical lines at the same time to make it efficient. And I'll try to do all my horizontal lines at the same time to make it efficient. And bada bing, I am done. Okay? And so that was a whole drawing done, in what, 8 minutes, 9 minutes? And that was with me kind of setting the paper up and talking you through all of it. So, you can get pretty efficient with this with a little bit of practice as long as you're reusing your measurements and you're drawing those lines where you need to draw them. Now, for people that want a bonus level, I'm going to show you how to do the isometric. This is a little bit more challenging. And I think people, it kind of freaks them out and they're like, how can I draw something that good? But the deal is if we use our tools, you don't have to be that good of an artist to do it. So that's where this guy comes in, this 30-degree triangle, okay? So you can use the same measurements. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to start with this corner, right, which is going to be like the front of my shape. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and measure out because I know this thing is 60 millimeters long, and I know that it's 40 millimeters wide. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do those, and I know it's 10 tall. So at all those points, well, it depends, I guess. So I'm going to draw my lines up from these corners. Okay, so this one, the front of it here is 10 millimeters. So I'm going to mark it. Go ahead and draw that there. And I'll draw my line back. And again, I'm drawing lines lightly here because I'm not going to use everything that I'm drawing right now. Again, I'll ink the final project. There's 30. That's how tall it is at the back. Okay, and that little piece is 20 millimeters wide. So I'll mark 20, and I can draw it down. Okay, and there's a 10 millimeter piece here. So I'm just getting in the habit of just thinking about which way I need to orient my 30-degree triangle. And you can see I'm starting to build out this front view, right, of this shape. Okay, so we've got that. Now we'll go, I need another 40 up here. We're going to be close to running into the edge of the paper. Oh, we just got her in there. So there's my 40. And now that I've already got some of these built, though, you know, I can use a lot of these over at this point to speed up my process. See how I'm going a lot faster now because I've got a lot of my measurements are already built in some way, shape, or form into this. Okay, and I just got a couple more to do. Basically, I just need some 10 millimeter measurements on here. Right there. And right there. And then I think I about got this one whooped. And then you just gotta think about what other lines are you gonna see on here. And I think that is pretty much it. And then I can ink it. There you go. Okay. So there's our shape is built. Now I just gotta go in and ink what I need to ink. And basically the idea with inking here is of course you're gonna do the outside of it. Now I'm going to try to be efficient, and you're doing the outside, and then you're doing any like creases that you would see. So flat surfaces won't have any lines on them. But again, if you got all your pencil lines done, now when I come to ink, I'm kind of doing all of my lines going in the same direction. I'm doing them all at once. Again, just trying to be as efficient as I possibly can with this. And I think you'll find, I mean, I guess I can't speak for you, but for me, it's really quite satisfying having these come together here at the end. All right, and then I think I just need my verticals, and then I think we're done. Oh, I can see I missed one of my... Missed just one. That was pretty good. Boom. There we go. Shape has been drawn. Oh, I missed a couple more. But with our orthographic views and our isometric views. So that is how you do it, right? So again, it takes some practice, but once you kind of master these few simple tools, I think you'll be amazed at what you can do and how quickly you can do it. All right, but there's our finished drawing. So I hope that helps give you an idea of how this process should go. And I hope you enjoy doing it. I find it kind of zen, once I'm in the zone doing this. Like, I really get into it, and I find it, I get in the flow, which is a fun state to be in. So good luck. I'm here to help, and just do your best. It's all about practicing and getting better each time.